A new role for the Barbados Defense Force as it celebrates a milestone. The Culture Minister pleased with Barbados showing at Carifesta. And in sports, Lamar Coward and Andrea Cumberbatch take the top spots at the Bodybuilding and Fitness Nationals.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
This segment of Weekend Newsnight, brought to you by Sagicor, wise financial thinking for life.
A very good evening to you with the Sunday, August 18th edition of CBC Newsnight. I'm Ryan Broom in our top story. The Barbados Defense Force will soon become an accredited institution to provide numerous local and regional educational qualifications. Word of this from Attorney General Dale Marshall during his address at the Force's 40th anniversary parade. Or Rianne Phillips has more.
The Barbados Defense Force, the combined armed forces of the island, is responsible for the territorial defense and helps maintain its internal security. But the organization, established 40 years ago, is to receive additional orders. It will soon become an accredited educational institution.
The force is currently in the advanced stages of developing a competence-based education and training system, which will see the force securing registration with the Barbados Accreditation Council as a registered tertiary institution. Ultimately, the achievement of full accreditation with the Council will see the force as an awarding body for national and regional vocational training qualifications. And in collaboration with the TVET Council, will be offering several Caribbean vocational qualifications to include management, leadership, providing security services, among others.
Only last week, government announced the BDF will provide support for the soon-to-be-established Barbados Youth Advance Corps. The Attorney General also spoke about the BDF's role in the anti-gun fight.
To date, the BDF has deployed some 853 joint gun interdiction patrols as an operational multiplier for the Royal Barbados Police Force. This reinforcing effort has had a positive effect through building public confidence, deterring acts of crime, and overall reducing the level of gun crime. The patrol program has set favorable conditions, therefore, to enable and empower additional strategies to be employed by the police force.
Mr. Marshall also praised the Barbados Coast Guard for its work.
Over the past year, you've interdicted 2.9 tons of marijuana and 40.7 kilograms of cocaine, with an estimated combined street value of over $26 million. The unit conducted 847 patrols covering some 20,725 nautical miles and executed 17 search and rescue operations.
The AG revealed the BDF will soon be expanding its Sea Cadet unit and also launching a new program at the Westbury Primary School. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Thanks, Rianne. Well, there's a suggestion Caribbean countries need to strive harder to facilitate and encourage intra-regional movement of artists. This is the view of Minister of Culture, John King, who says it is needed to help develop the region's cultural products. He was speaking after the Barbados Country Night Showcase at Carifesta 14 in Trinidad and Tobago.
What has been striking is that we talk about indigenous things. We talk about Tuk Band and let's say Mother Sally and the Lanchet. But I've seen things so similar to it from some of the other countries that leads me back to one of the things that Stalin said in one of his songs. We all came on the same ship with the same trip. And it's just like it's spread out across the islands. And I think when I saw that, it told me that as a politician, I really now need to voice that we've got to find a way to better facilitate the travel of our creative people across these territories, to be able to make a sustainable living and a sustainable contribution to the Caribbean islands as a whole.
And Minister King says Carifesta offers many opportunities for regional talent to excel. He stresses that it also reveals the historical and cultural links between the various territories of the region. Minister King has also lauded the Barbados contingent for its display.
I was very, very happy with what I saw. It was a wonderful story of the history of Barbados, take you all the way from the beginnings of the sugar industry right up to now, ending off with Rihanna's music. It was fabulous. A little technical hitches here and there, but that didn't take away from the actual spirit. And I think that's the word that I would use, the actual spirit of the performances. So I was very, very happy. And I think Barbados did a really good showing today.
In other news, members of the deaf community in Barbados will soon have a way to easily access help in an emergency or dangerous situation. It's in the form of a safety app linked to the island's emergency services. The app is part of the Deaf Heart Project, the brainchild of Miss World Barbados delegate Shay Greenidge. During the project's launch at Copacabana, Ms. Greenidge noted that their aim is to empower the deaf community and afford each of them a better quality of life. She revealed that the idea for the app came about following the death of a member of the community recently.
We might not be sensitized to it if we're not around deaf people, but they cannot access emergency services. They cannot call the police. They cannot call the ambulance and say what's wrong. So to facilitate better access, my hope with the Deaf Heart Project is that we have a safety app which will link to their location if they're ever in need of in a crisis, and just create a space in Barbados where they can feel safe.
Now, that launch also included a mix and mingle where attendees were encouraged to interact with each other. President of the Barbados Council for the Disabled, Carrie-Ann Eiffel, lauded the Deaf Heart Project. She says members of the community are often marginalized because others cannot meaningfully and effectively communicate with them. Ms. Eiffel has described the initiative as a key step in ensuring the deaf and hearing impaired can contribute to society.
As we launch the Deaf Heart Initiative, this is yet one more step towards that horizon. A horizon that will represent a world where the deaf and the hearing impaired can work together on programs and projects to improve communication, to provide opportunities for employment, for education. A world where we can enjoy leisure together, worship together, effectively communicate with each other.
Well, the St. George Parish Church is taking the lead to ensure its messages and sermons are easily grasped by members and visitors alike. One method the church is embracing is an art exhibition, which will run for 14 days until August 31st. Assistant Curate, the Reverend Yolanda Clark, explains the exhibit's theme, Caribbean Freedom Fighters, ties back in with the church's 2019 theme, Liberation, and that display, which will coincide with the church's Season of Emancipation celebrations, was launched this morning and was attended by Governor General Dame Sandra Mason.
Though I believe that I can do something with a spoken word, I recognize that some persons are more visual than they are in hearing. And so we wanted to put on a visual arts exhibition to explore the same themes that we're speaking about in our sermons and in our various presentations, so that those persons who may not be able to absorb all of the sermon, because I know you don't fall asleep, you can take your time to really peruse the visual arts.
A local group is continuing to play its part to give back to members of the community, including children. The Togetherness social group made its most recent gesture by a recent presentation of stationery to a number of children who will be entering the secondary school system in September. The children come from a number of communities, stretching from Hothersall in St. Michael to St. Anne's in St. Joseph. A member of the group's executive council, Maureen Foster, spoke about the initiative.
We are donating folders to the 11 plus achievers. This is the fourth year that we are doing it, and this is another of our way of giving back to the community. I wish them all the success in their future endeavors.
The group executive council, Jean Holder, says their motto is love, unity, and fellowship. She says they try to make a positive impact in a range of areas.
We curated for about 24, and it's not only from the schools, from the churches, St. Augustine Church, like St. Bernard School, and I would say Faith, Resident Holiness, which is just next door, and any needy children that we can identify, we donate to. We realize that these children are transitioning from primary to secondary school, and we think that it is important that we assist the parents wherever necessary.